Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you today, as I hope that we always do. Captain Leonard, I can't go another step further without saying hello to my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family. What you got
How was
going
your week?
on?
How was
It's
no,
good.
no, no. I had to move. I had to move my other thing up a little bit, man. It was too low. I wanted to make sure I evened it out. But how was your weekend, brother?
Well, it was good. We won't complain. We had the weather issues and things going on with some people, so we hope some people were safe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks on the road and
Yes.
things like that. So we're definitely glad that hopefully people will be safe and take things a little bit more seriously. Pray for people's health. There's a lot of people that are ill right now,
Mm-hmm.
so we definitely have to keep one another in prayer, keep lifted up. If you know people, that check on people, you know,
Exactly.
check on folks, see how they doing. That can
Mm-hmm.
make all the difference in the world.
Yes, absolutely. And that's good. I'm glad you said that, man, because that's absolutely, especially our elderly, man. Especially our elderly, man. Check on
Yes,
them, make sure they're okay. Because a lot of
yes,
times, you hate to think like this, man, but sometimes they could be sitting in a house by themselves sometime and something could happen. And they don't make it, man. They don't make it, and they be left in that house, man, weeks without anybody even knowing
right. And so
that
that's why
they.
it's good to always check on your loved ones, especially
Mhm.
elderly people.
Exactly, and even the young folks, the young folks sometimes deaf don't discriminate,
Oh
and
no, sir. It seems like we got a lot of phone calls and things and updates and things this weekend. And
mhm,
just to remind us to keep people in prayer, man.
exactly. It's so very important. It's so very important. Now let me switch gears for you a second, man. What why is Biden's number so low? Or they're saying that his numbers are so low. What do you think? What do you think is a contributing factor in that, Leonard?
Just really to stir up controversy. I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
is the number? What is the number? And low about what? And who's saying it?
Mm-hmm.
The
Come
only
on.
people that's really saying it are the people that were against him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
They will never give up. So don't expect them to give up.
Mm-hmm.
But this notion that somebody coming to save y'all and all that other kind of crap kind of needs to go out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And people really need to work at doing what is best for them and their families. Once you focus on that, you won't have no problems.
Exactly. Let me say hello to Short Man 2022. Okay, interesting name. Gary Hamilton, good morning to you. Carl, good morning to you as well. We got quite a few people that's coming in. Phone number is 508-9243-521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Now, Leonard, what you just said, I gotta come right back and stay there for a second, man. Why is it that everybody saying that the greatest president of all times was this knucklehead that just got out of office not too long ago? What evidence do they have to even insinuate something like that?
Because they can. They're a bunch of idiots themselves. What do you expect?
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Honestly, sometimes, because I'm from the hood, right?
Come on.
And one of those things I've
Mm-hmm.
had to change about myself,
Mm-hmm.
being from the hood, is just immediately punishing people for being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because, usually if somebody in front of you and they keep saying something stupid, you usually just pretty much punch them in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't got
That's
time to
that's
play.
how I feel about a lot of these people. They
Mm,
just that stupid that I
mm-hmm.
don't want to hear what they have to say. And if they press the pointing aid with arm's reach, they should be punched in the face. That's the feeling.
Wow.
Because
Now
it's just
Slav.
that you're dumb. I mean, you can't have a conversation with willfully ignorant people. It is a
Mm-hmm.
waste of time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
best to do everything you can against them ever holding any positions of authority over anyone or anything else. Because all they're going to do is get in a position and they're going to make stupid rules, regulations, Some of the stuff these people come in is just ignorant. And you watch them and you wonder who gives them the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still, if we say, for instance, we had a gathering or whatever, and somebody just yapping about something, man, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up before somebody gonna have to leave. That's how I get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit around and listen to it. And I don't believe that anybody should.
Some of the things, excuse me, some of the things that they that they're privileged to say.
I mean, I'm
Makes no
all
sense.
for free speech.
Yeah, but it makes no sense though.
You don't have to. It don't have to.
I tell people all the time, I don't have to agree with what you say. I don't have to agree with it, but to me, I'm just saying for me, and this is just for me talking. At least let it make sense. I don't have to agree. If I don't agree, that's good. That's your opinion. You say it the way you want to say it. I don't have to agree with you. But can it please make sense? But can it
just
please
make
make
sense?
some sense?
I understand being evil. I understand being wicked. I understand being selfish, greedy, all of that. That's just who you are. But you're not right.
Exactly.
You're not right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. But I understand all that other stuff, you know.
And Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Another blessed day to be alive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Badger, we're talking about people getting stuck on stupid sometimes.
Oh,
And a lot
yeah, I heard.
and a lot of time and a lot of times what people do, one of the tools that they try to use, even though they're wrong, what they try to do, they try to get loud. And they try to make you believe they're right because they're being so loud. But what I tell people all the time is now you're loud and you're wrong. You're wrong and you're loud. So why do people think that if they get loud and they get to hollering and screaming, okay, now you're just louder in your wrongness. But why do they think that? Go ahead.
You ever been to the church?
Yeah, I've been to the church.
That should explain a lot.
Well, they're not always wrong in the church, though, Badger. Yeah, that's you took a left turn on me there.
Well, okay, so Trump's a Christian Republican. So here we go again with people calling themselves something, but I don't remember Jesus, going around groping women and screwing people over by money and income and for self gain, personal gain. He's had these different businesses and people end up getting let go and fired from it, and while he's sitting up there still collecting thousands and thousands of dollars. He's a good role model for this greedy, selfish mentality that runs America.
And we're talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. But see, my thing is, and I understand what you're saying with that, but I just for my listeners, I gotta say this: not all church. Going back to the church thing, not all churches are bad.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay, so I just didn't want nobody to walk away saying that we bashing the church. There are some. I understand. I'm just saying that for clarity reasons. I'm not saying that you say that.
Oh no, thank you.
But my thing is this right here. You do have some elements. You do have some churches that are not good, but you have so many of them that are good, doing fabulous and fantastic things. And so I don't want nobody to walk away and say that we saying this or we saying no, we're not. That's not what we're saying.
Okay, so what I was trying to hint at, and thank you for clearing some of that up, is if you can look at a church and judge the church for being unchristian, I don't understand how they can't do that with Trump.
That's good. That's good. Okay, Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
It ain't Trump. I can tell you that. I mean, it has. I don't even know what I think I lost track of you all's conversation when you mentioned Trump and Christianity. They don't go together.
Exactly.
And he's never professed to be such a Christian in the first place. So it's the ignorance of people has always been around, and it's unfortunate that some people revel in that type of behavior. that people choose to be on that side of the game when it
Mhm.
comes to everything. You're wrong.
Let me jump in 1 second because you said something just now, man. You throwing some nuggets out there tonight, this morning, brother. And I'm appreciating it. Why do people think that Trump is a Christian? Why do they think he's such a great Christian when he never even himself said he was a Christian, man? The guy, he
Right.
misquoted so many different things about the Bible and the
Mhm.
scriptures. But
Yeah.
people say that, oh, he's a great Christian, he's just a Christian. No.
Well, wicked white folks wouldn't know Christianity if you hit them in the face.
Mm.
They'll say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing that. They've been claiming to be Christians,
Mm-hmm.
which is the reason why they're having so much turmoil now. Because they almost need to all get together and drink Kool-Aid and die.
Mm. Woo. Well, you hitting hard this morning, bro. You hitting
I mean,
hard.
if you're going to continue to hold on to straight bull BS
Mm-hmm.
that people have been pushing around for years and years and years, you lost anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you've done. I'm not into this. Well, we didn't know. Somebody didn't tell us, or there's just some type of secret. No, it's not. It's not a secret. It's
Mm-hmm.
never been a big secret. That's what bothers me about some people. This thing ain't changed a whole lot when it comes to people's belief. There's a lot of ignorance. A lot of ignorance out there that's viable, that's living, that's breathing, that's making babies, that's making some dumber than them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it, the only thing you can do it is fight against it and address it and keep it pushing. I don't have no need to throw rocks at no church or nothing else. It's men.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Exactly.
men doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
Doctrine don't do nothing. Men do.
Mm-hmm. And see, some people don't like it when I say this, but you're absolutely right. Doctrine don't do nothing but sit there. You
No,
read it. You read it and you run with it the direction that you're running in. Sometimes you go in the right direction,
yeah.
sometimes you
The
don't.
teachings of Jesus that long in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That long.
Mm-hmm.
You could read it all in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Probably wouldn't even take you 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is BS.
I don't know if I'm gonna say that now, Leonard. You know that's Leonard's opinion right there.
It
Now.
ain't worth arguing about. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not worth all this murder and mayhem.
Well,
It wasn't worth trying to make everybody believe all these characters were white.
mm-hmm.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
kind of BS people have been doing.
And see, oh wow, you open up a door right there, brother. You open up a door. Why do you think is it? What is the reason? I'm gonna switch my question up just a little bit. What is the reason why you think, Leonard, that they try to push that narrative that everybody, even with the movies and they had it depicted in the movies and stuff like that, all the characters was white?
Yeah,
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
because that's what they chose to do.
Mm-hmm. False
That's what
narrative.
they chose to do. They're liars,
Mm-hmm.
wicked deceivers. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Back.
there's no secret or something beyond someone else's understanding. It's just pure unadulterated ignorance. Think of the top carnal sins, add all that in there, and just straight hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. People
Mm-hmm.
lie every day just to get
Back.
you to support them.
Exactly. Badger, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? Why do you think the narrative is everybody in the Bible was Caucasian? Every element of it was Caucasian, even in the movies and how they depict it in the movies and on the screen. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I never thought the people in the Bible were white. So
No, not you. I'm talking about why do you think the movies and the way that they try to depict it on screen and tell the stories and stuff like that? Why do you think they try to do that? Not you personally, but why do you think other people try to do that?
people in power want to keep us separated by the use of racism and illusions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's white supremacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
I mean, You gotta quit saying that. Because it's just the more if you actually truly pay attention to the way things went down through history that led us up to where we are now, and how much stuff and how many hundreds, actually about a couple thousand years of stuff that we have to rewrite. Well, not rewrite, but alter in the mentality and the economics to create an equal future for all. We got to change how most churches do things, got to change how most governments do things, change a lot of the political seatings, making sure, the votes actually matter instead of I'm trying to keep track of all the bills that's supposed to be getting passed, that's supposed to be helping a lot of people, and I'm still waiting for them to get passed. It's been 4 years now. So it's looking at the groups of people that are in our House and Senate, which is an array of races at this point, and still waiting for change. So to me, it's used to be white supremacy. Now it's just people in power.
He said it used to be white supremacy. Now it's just people in power. How do you take that part?
No, it's still white supremacy because it still happens every day.
It started in
Institutional racism is still very much intact. If you don't have to go back 20, 30 years, you can go back to just yesterday. It still goes on. Discrimination and racism still goes on. The court system is still unfair to African Americans. It's still that way. So that's why there's a continual fight against it every day. That's why we just celebrated Martin Luther King's contributions. It's for the very simple fact that he was a person who put his life on the line to fight against these types of things. And we still have to continue to fight. That's why it's so important that children really know who Martin Luther King was and what he was doing and why he was doing it. This is why critical race theory needs to be taught in every school in America so people understand what racism has done to this place. There is no way around it. There ain't no sense in talking about nothing else. We would not be here today with these type of issues had it not been for wicked white people who believed in enslaving other people simply because of the color of their skin. That if you put all these people in power to psychological testing, you will find that they believe and they support racism. That's who they are.
Let me throw this question at you, man. In this day and time, what's this 2022? January the 18th, 2022. If we could go back, or society could go back to the days of slaves, slaves was a part of our country. Do you think there's some people in this day and time that would welcome that opportunity to have slaves again?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. That's see, that's why I'm saying when people talk about what if, no, ask them today. Ask them today. They sitting right there. Who do you think they're the descendants of? If I am the descendant of a slave, who do you think they're descendants of?
Wow.
That's truth. So you have to teach it that way. You don't just say, oh, we're going to teach that everything was okay and there's nothing happening. But no, that would be still a lie. That would still be based on a lie, and that foundation would still crumble. It has to be taught. Life is linear. It has to be taught that way. This is what happened in the 50s, and the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. This is what was going on. This is why this law is the way it is now, because this crap used to be legal. Why did these things used to be legal? Because the majority of the power were held by wicked white racists who had no problem with enslaving other human beings. They have no problem with keeping women from voting. They have no problem with keeping as many poor people from voting, especially black poor people. You can watch it, you see their strategies, the way they're written, and everything, and how they disenfranchise our communities. It's not make believe.
Yeah.
There's too much evidence. It's like one, you got to dig for gold, but this stuff just laying right on the grass. It's just laying right in the grass.
Exactly. Wow.
So at least pick that trash up you can see, and get rid of it.
Make it look like it's clean.
And let real miners continue to dig for the rest.
Badger, what do you say to that, Badger? Do you think in this day and time, if some individuals, if some elements of our society could go back and have slaves again, do you think they would do that in this 2022?
If it's going to fill their pocketbook, absolutely. And I think it'd be people of all races.
You might not be wrong.
It's greed.
You might not be wrong. Yeah.
Like anyone's capable of greed. And like, so for anyone listening, my take on the terminology and word usage of white supremacy is because my research, and as far back as I've gone, slaves have been used for a very long time. And most of the time it's centered from a religion. I'm better than you are, that whole mentality, which goes from one to another, which eventually leads to the most recent transaction of, slaves from Africa being brought over here. And, and it's just, I personally have an issue with the whole white supremacy thing because they learned to be slave masters from a religion, because it was used in power by people in power of, different races from Mediterranean to Spain to Italian, but I guess all of them are grouped up to be white, so that don't matter. Or that's my assumption anyway.
Okay.
I know if you call a Spain person white, they're probably gonna punch you. So it's just interesting because those of y'all that know my heritage, my Irish and my Scottish ancestors had to fight for their freedom. My Irish ancestors had to fight for their freedom. Some of them are still fighting for their, freedom of religion or freedom of belief. And my Native brothers and sisters, every time you turn around, here's a bill that says you can, sell your land, but there are limitations. If it falls into this category, you have to get permission from us. And we're like, and I'm sitting here reading it going, so you give my brothers and sisters land and you still want to regulate and control everything that they do. All right, here we go again. But, and then, I'm sitting here, and I guess this is a vent or frustration just on my part because of all the things I research and look into and stuff. I'm just, not all white people are like that. And I'm so tired of hearing that label because it paints this generalized broad picture of all white people are going to be this way unless someone actually takes the time of going, what exactly do you mean when you say that phrase?
But see, the thing about it, and the way you feel about that is the same way I feel about when somebody say the church is this, the church that. Not all churches are that way, and so you can't
exactly.
And I agree with you. You can't paint anything with a wide brush that way and say that everybody is like that. But at the same time, if I have a table full of water, cups full of water, and we're going to feed those cups of water to everybody that's out there, and then I have someone to come in and pour poison in 10 of those glasses of water, or even one of those glasses of water, then somebody's going to die. There's going to be some wickedness that's going to go on from them doing that to that particular with the Native Americans when gave the blankets that was filled with was that smallpox? Was it smallpox, Leonard?
Yeah, probably lots of things, lots of issues,
Yeah,
lots
Yeah,
of things have
polio,
happened.
polio,
smallpox.
smallpox, and they gave them as gifts. They were given to, you're so nice. We're gonna give you these gifts. These blankets are gonna help you stay warm. Blah blah blah. But they was full of disease, man.
Same
You know,
people, same
I'm not
people.
see, and I'm not gonna say that. No, not then something else. Not and I can agree with you when you say not all white people, because I have some very close, very good friends, Caucasian brothers and sisters that are my friends. And we go to bat with each other. That's just what it is. And so and I go to bat with them just like I go to bat with my black brothers and sisters. We all roll together. I'm not saying everybody, but when you have an element that's going to do different things like that, man, you have to deal with that element. And like I say, to come along and to say that, we're going to give you a gift. We're giving you a gift, something that's going to help you. This right here is going to be good for you. And knowing that it's going to kill them, man, that's another level. That's another level of wicked right there. If you ask me, brother, that's another level of wicked.
Yeah, they were trying to commit genocide
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And why?
for
And why?
land power, and what, gold, silver, or whatever they found on the lands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different elements tied into the thing. We got quite a few people that's come into the conversation. I'm going to pull each and every one of you into the conversation. Be patient with me. Give me just a second. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Nothing. I'm just listening. I'll be interested in hearing other people's comments.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't started yesterday, and everybody has to stand up and fight against it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. When
Mm-hmm.
you see it, you ought to be against it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
white or black. But
Mm-hmm.
we not gonna pretend that we don't know how it happened.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That
Exactly.
is unacceptable, and that is ignorant.
Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Good morning.
Toya, I gotta ask you a question, and this is based on a piece or part of what we're talking about this morning. Excuse me. We in 2022. We in 2022 right now. Um, if do you think there's an element of our society right now in 2022 that if we could go back to the slavery days, they would want to have slaves in 2022? Toya, what do you say to that?
They already got slaves in 2022. I mean, anytime you create a disparity, that's a type of slavery. So
Mm-hmm.
what, they just not as inhumane as they used to be? Because you're still working 1,000 hours a week, can't spend time with your family. They still got stuff on TV to poison your kids' head. So when they go out there, they go ahead and go to jail. They got a formula to slavery, and I know, and we really don't want to face it, but that's what we are. Free slaves, free prisoners is what my parents like to call it. Because you can't do what you want to do. You do what they say do.
Mm.
So we just not getting beat no more. But look, some of us are. Some of us are still getting killed unarmed by officers. Not
Mm-hmm.
just black people either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we all know that, but it's not just black people. I mean, the numbers are higher because there's more of them than there is, but they still get shot too, unarmed. You understand what I'm saying? So who does that? What kind of people do that? This is what you're gonna do. If you're not gonna do it, then I'm gonna do something different. We have a slave master mentality. The system is kind of like undercover, right? The system is kind of like how parents tell us that it's Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
So the system kind of the same way. Like, oh no, y'all not slaves, but y'all really are slaves. Because if you don't do what we tell you to do, you're gonna have some consequences and repercussions. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I believe that we just living in a different form of slavery in 2022, and I
Wow.
do believe that if some people can get the opportunity, to do some things worse
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, they will, So I don't think that slavery has went anywhere. I just think it's changed its place.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right. I'm about ready to hang up.
Where you hanging up for?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said it out loud too. Said it out loud. Everybody heard you. But and happy belated birthday, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
You know by now.
Well,
But
happy belated birthday, Toussaint.
Thank you, Tanya. With a T.
He said, "Told you with a T." Hey, Toussaint, what do you think, though, man? Do you think in 2022, if there was a way that they could go back to slavery times, do you think there's some element of our community that will want to have slaves in 2022?
Over a lot of folks' dead bodies. But then at the same time, some of them would lay down and welcome it.
Wow.
And some waiting on it. We have a society that has never accepted freedom at all.
Mm-hmm.
From the very beginning, they didn't care for it, and it's still at this point. There are some places that we may not know of or be aware of it, but they conduct themselves in the same way. So then we got the nerve to fight, and I don't say we as just us, but we have people that are fighting for stuff that they will never own.
Yeah.
Raising hell.
Hey.
Yes. Oh, I got some more for you. I'm telling you. You know when you get, how when you see a people get a certain age, they don't care what they say.
Yes, sir. Oh, you don't jump over that threshold, huh?
Well, no, I'm not necessarily. I'm trying to cool my tongue.
Okay, all right.
But I'm kind of like I feel like Isaiah now. I'm a man of unclean lips. But I got to. If I keep talking, I'll motivate somebody else.
Exactly.
So I got to be careful.
Now Cassandra's on the line, so we ain't trying to we ain't trying to wake your throat past up. Now Cassandra's on the line.
I like to start fires. I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay, well
I know how to start a fire.
You about to do it. You about to do it. Let me go to on Charles. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, brother?
What's going on with you, man?
Chilling, man. Heading to work.
Do you think in this day and time, 2022, and I need to hear your heart on this, man? Is there some elements of our community that, if it could go back to slavery days, would want to have slaves in 2022? What do you say to that, Charles?
Now, you said community or you said society. You changed it. So which one is it?
Everyone in a community, element of our community. Let's say community. No, society. Let's say society.
Oh, I was going to say our community. No.
Our
society, yeah, because evil is out there. Slavery was evil. So it's nothing better. People in America or people are just evil in places. So yeah, people would want slavery, and it's a fact. It's not even like would, because it's a fact right now. Slavery still goes on in this world. That's a fact. We know there are Africans holding Africans as slaves right now. We know for a fact that China have slave labor making Nikes. So the thing about it is that we complain and we moan about slavery and how we don't like it, but we turn around and we buy slave products. So yes, it is. And yes, people will complain about it, but people ain't gonna do nothing about it because everybody love their Nikes. And we know for a fact that Nike's a slave labor shoe. So as of in our society in America, what makes us better than anybody else that we won't want to do the same thing? Blacks and whites, because you do know that blacks did own slaves, whites own slaves, Native Americans own slaves. Come on now, let's be honest with it. So nobody gets a pass. Everybody gets looked at in the side eye So the answer to that question is, yeah, I believe it would be, because right now it still is going on. And we ain't doing nothing about it. We ain't marching about it. We ain't doing nothing about it.
Just letting it happen.
We letting it happen. We buying the shoes. We stand in line for shoes that we know from slave labor. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say with that? Would you say with that, Charles? And I just want to hear your heart on this question right here. If you standing in line to buy the shoes, knowing the process that it went through, are you in a roundabout place?
Say it again. You broke up, brother.
Are you saying, or help me understand, if you stand in line to buy these shoes, knowing the process that it went through to make these shoes, say the slave labor that went into making these shoes, are you saying that you are in a roundabout way supporting it?
Yes, you are. Whether you know it or not. Now, if you know it, then definitely yes. If you don't know it, then you still are. I mean, ignorance is, doesn't change the situation. It is what it is.
Good deal. Good deal.
Participating in slavery, buying from slave labor now.
Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. I encourage you, give us a call. We love to hear from you. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning. Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about slaves right now and slavery. And asking the question that in 2022, if we could go back to those days of slavery, would people still want to have slaves today? But my question to you is, would some black people want to have slaves?
I'm sure they would, just like anybody else, if they could purchase slaves. I'm sure there are some black people that would do that, even knowing, the people would like to have them in the same position. I just really a little side note. Last night, yesterday, I did a video down at the state capitol in front of Dr. King's statue, just as an honor to him. And then I got home last night, and I don't watch regular TV. The stuff on today, I can't watch it. So I was watching, but for some reason, it was like turn on the TV, and when I turned it on, my TV was on bounce. Now I don't watch bounce or any of the others because I just don't like a lot of crazy stuff. So while I was watching, Selma came on. Right when I started watching it, Selma came on, and I really had not watched Selma because it's been to me, when I see stuff like that, I just cry so much. It hurts me so bad to see how they treated us. And I heard George Wallace and Lyndon B. Johnson make comments about Black people that just, I mean, literally, I watched and I literally wept from the time almost I started watching that movie till the very end. And it showed me how people disregard us then. And this was about voting. And I think and I mentioned in a video I shot yesterday about this voting situation. Here we are back at the same place from 1965. What the hell? And people acting like we've come somewhere. We ain't. I'm sorry. We've come a very short distance as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what you got, how much you got, where you working, where your house at, what kind of car you driving. We've come a very short distance, because whenever you try to take away a basic right, and I know you said about slavery, but when you do that kind of stuff, you're putting us back in bondage. When you're trying to fight against us having our right to vote or any kind of civil right or human right, that's slavery, that's bondage. So, I didn't mean to say all of that, but we've come a very short distance.
So you do agree that some people would still, in this day and time, still.
Yes.
Wow. Leonard, what does that say? What does that say about that individual, being black, white, orange, polka dot, or lily striped? What does that say about them individuals that would like to have slaves?
Like I say, I always ask the question: are you against racism, or are you just against it because you were on the receiving end of it? Now, like I said before, it doesn't matter to me who you are. The desire to have a slave to me is filthy and disgusting. That's just how I am. I don't know what makes other people want other people to bow down to them and treat them this way unless they're wicked, nasty people. And there's the history and the evidence and everything to go along with this issue of racism here in the United States. So you can't continue to pretend or act as if this is some brand new thing, because it's not. It's been a continuous fight that people have to continue to fight every day. If it was gone, the conversation would be different.
Now you can't talk that. Now you can't talk that bad about America, which is the greatest country in the world. You cannot. How dare you?
People can say what they want to say. That don't make it right. You know, there are a lot of people with a lot of different issues. But see, what most people do is they don't want to deal with it at all. So they start lumping everything together to de-emphasize what has happened to African Americans.
Amen.
There's always to push that to the back. And then you want to put other stuff up in front of it. You're participating in it.
Exactly.
Why are you against reparations if you know some wrong was done? Why? Why? What interest do you have in keeping people from voting?
Come on.
What interest?
Amen.
A dog is a dog, man. You know, you can say whatever you want or whatever. It's still a dog. I don't care what kind of clothes you put on it. None of that. You're there. I see you. If don't nobody else see you, know I see you. And I'm not going to let you just come around and say and do what you want and pretend like, one, African Americans were allowed the same peace and pursuits of life, liberty, and happiness that everybody else was. Now, if you just refuse to accept the fact of these things that are true, that's on you. But I'm not going to change my conversation to make you feel better because you think it should be a different way.
Here you go, Leonard. Read this here from a Public Citizen.
The Bible has many passages endorsing slavery. I have always had a hard time with that, which is one reason I am not a Christian. The Bible does not endorse slavery. The Bible is simply a recording of what was going on at the time. It would have been unfair for Jesus to have come and not address those people who were enslaved. That wouldn't have made sense. Why wouldn't you address the people that were slaves? They were people. So this issue where everybody want to make it seem like that the Bible ain't that strong of a book to do that. It won't. Y'all don't do right. So the Bible ain't this magic tool that once you speak it, it just automatically happens. Y'all talking about, well, the Bible endorses slavery or whatever and blah, blah, blah. The Bible can do whatever it wants to do. It's a book. It tells the story of what men have done. So if you come around, these people told you that it automatically, I bet you every white person, every black person understood the difference between living above the Mason-Dixon line and below the Mason-Dixon line. I bet you know the difference.
And there is one.
So you don't put 2 or 3 verses out of the Bible, misconstrued them somehow, and say it was the cause of slavery. No, wicked white people caused these issues in America. We have that evidence. Now you can go back to ancient Africa and everywhere else and every other civilization and look at their forms of slavery or what have you. That's fine. But it ain't America. You need to mind your business here first. Instead of trying to jump all over to another country and talk about their hardship when the people right down the street from you in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, and all these other places. But you somewhere over in Africa worried about African slavery and Chinese slavery and worry about slavery right here in your backyard. You can contribute to these other efforts and join all these other organizations as well to support them financially and everything overseas. But don't use it as an excuse not to do nothing here. If you don't want to help black folks, just say that. Just say it.
Let me go to my phone lines. Let me, as a matter of fact, let me open up the phone lines to some more people. We got a couple of callers in right now. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ask the question: if we could go back to the slavery days, is there some elements in our society? I'm gonna use the word society that would want to have slaves. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Yo, what's up, bro? What's going on?
Talk to me, brother. Do you think there's some elements in our society that would want to have slaves in 2022?
I mean, I think that's I think that's evident.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, it when you think about it, it's evident in the way that the whole business structure in America is set up. You know, it's evident. Like there is a segment in our society who they may not want slavery like it was in the in the early 19th century, but they want to be able to make capital without having to pay for it. They want free labor. They want things like that. And when you look at, if you just look at the pay structure, right? In all reality, most companies are actually getting free labor.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually getting free labor, bro. The minimum wage, according to inflation and everything, the minimum wage is supposed to be $22 an hour. According to CBO, the estimated reports on how much businesses are making, and this, that, and the third, the minimum wage is supposed to be $22 an hour, bro. So if the minimum wage is only $10.50, and it's supposed to be $22 an hour, you almost getting away with free labor. There ain't no other way to put that. People get a job right now that pay $15 an hour, and they say, you'll hear somebody say, no, you got a good paying job. Okay, well, does $15 an hour match the cost of fuel? Does $15 an hour match the cost of renting an apartment and or house?
Mm-hmm.
Does it match? No, it don't. $15 an hour with the price of items today, $15 an hour is realistically, if you was to really do the numbers, you'll probably come in at about $8.25 an hour is what you make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal.
You know, and I heard Leonard. Leonard was absolutely right when he was talking about how with the Bible and slavery, people need to understand that the ignorant white man used the Bible. He told you it meant this to justify his slavery. One of the scriptures that has always been used to justify slavery is Genesis 9:27. That has always been used.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 or 3 other scriptures that have always been used to justify the inappropriate actions of a given man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to justify the fact that, we're gonna treat these people like they less than. But you know, the Bible, man.
Let me do this, good. Let me pull some more people. Let me pull some more people. Yeah, I see you get disturbed over there, brother. Hold on for a minute. Let me pull some more people into the conversation, man, because and we hadn't got to our topic for today. This is not our topic, everybody. This is just a talking something that we're talking about at this particular opening of the show. But let me go to Michael. Michael, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Me? Hello,
Michael.
Yeah,
Michael, you there?
can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, sir. I sure can. I'm asking
I'm sorry,
the
I had to
question.
hit the button.
Okay, I'm asking the question. In 2022, if there was an opportunity for slavery to be reinvented, if you will, or whatever, however you want to say it, lack of a better term, do you think there's some people in our society that would want to go back to slavery times?
Well, you have to deal with the conditioning of people in the first place. Most people don't realize that slavery was never legal on the federal level until after the Civil War and the 13th Amendment, which made it clear that if you are duly convicted of a crime, you can be forced into involuntary servitude. So with that, you have to understand the conditioning is that people have accepted that anybody who gets a felony, who goes to prison, who's made to make T-shirts, print license plates or whatever, technically speaking, it is legal to make someone a slave. So that condition right there, a lot of people don't even realize it, and only people who really understand it are people who've been to jail. So if you're talking about whether or not if people would actually accept slavery again in 2022, I don't think you're gonna have to go too far. I mean, we gonna get slightly political, and I know we can't use certain terms because of the algorithms and whatnot. But if you can convince people to inject themselves with something that has a 97 or 99.7% survival rate or better, it ain't gonna be too hard to convince people of a lot of other things, such as putting a chip under their skin. So I don't see people as having the intelligence, the backbone, and the foresight to see what's coming in the future. They're just not gonna get out there and do what they're supposed to do as far as stopping something from happening if they see any kind of benefit or if it's mandated by government.
Now, Michael, let me for clarity for myself and for everybody that's listening, am I hearing you say that by way of the penal system, slavery still exists in 2022?
Yeah, if you look at the 13th Amendment and actually read it for what it is, it literally tells you, because you have to remember, there's a whole lot of controversy about what the Civil War was over with, but the two central issues were slavery and states' rights. So once the war was over with, once Lincoln passed that 13th Amendment, if you actually read it, it reads that so long as you have been duly convicted, you can be forced into slavery or involuntary servitude. If you actually read, I don't have it in front of me, and I didn't expect this to be the conversation, so you caught me slightly off guard. But if you can just Google it real fast. Anybody who's listening, when you read that, slavery was never legal on the federal level until after the Civil War. Before that, it was a state's issue. So New York wanted their slaves. Georgia didn't want. New York didn't want slaves. Georgia did. The North did it. It boils down to literally a states' right issue. Yes, slavery was the issue because obviously you make a whole lot of money off of people and whatnot. But you look at even now with minimum wage. People say, oh, we need to make minimum wage $50 or we need to make minimum wage $100 an hour. It doesn't matter what you make the minimum wage. It's always going to be a minimum wage. You can make a minimum wage of $100 an hour. Just for sake of argument, we're going to make the new minimum wage $100 an hour. Basic economics. So how much do you think a hamburger is about to cost? A can of soda is about to cost? These folks are still going to make their money. It's not going to matter what you make the minimum wage. What it is these are supposed to be entry level jobs. You're not supposed to support your family. This ain't supposed to be a career move. This ain't what you're supposed to be doing for the next 20 years. It's an entry level job. We can look at California, look at New York, look at these areas that have upped the minimum wage. And what has happened? Inflation. You talk about a house in California that maybe is $1 million. It might be 80 or 100 grand here in Georgia. So all you're doing is inflating the price of everything. So yeah, people say, oh, we need to make the minimum wage. It needs to be $15 an hour. I do you one better. Fuck it. Let's make it 50. We gonna go ahead and end this now. Let's just make it $50 and we gonna see where this goes.
Hold right there, Michael. Don't go nowhere. Hold on. Let me go to Charles. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
I concur, man, especially with the part where, and I didn't even think about that, about people. You get people to, if you can convince people to inject themselves with something that just is, they don't even know about, it can't be too hard to get slavery to get, crunk back up. If that's what they want. If you can get people to turn in their guns just because government says too much, it can't be, look what's going on in Australia. But like right here, but it's not slavery going on right here, right now. People think that is, but I guess Mike is right about the penal system because he knows more about that than I do. But as of the injection and things like that, yeah, it made me think about it. If you can get somebody to inject themselves on something that you know nothing about and you can't even read about it, then yeah, it might not be that hard to get people to trick somebody into slavery.
Wow, that's good. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Cassandra, coming to you next.
it will be kind of difficult not to throw the F-bomb out.
Come on, Tucson. You restraint, brother. Just have a little bit of restraint for me. Just a little bit.
I'm sorry. It already happened, so there it is. Anyway, I just want let me see if I can get myself clear rather than skipping about. Truth. People have a problem with, and a lot of times, we want to use an excuse for not being on that. And I don't want to throw that out there because what I heard was when Leonard kind of clarified what a lot of people believe, and that's fine. That's fine. That the Bible or God promotes slavery. No, he don't. No, he don't. It's a truth. It has history in it. What our biggest problem is that we want to do our own thing, and it gets us in trouble. I know this is off what I'm talking about, but it is what it is. See, what we do is we have this here. I don't know what all of that is, but it is. When we put on our money, which is worth nothing, in God we trust. And then when we don't trust God, repercussion of our actions occurs. Just like the children of Israel, or even those that prove that they are still children of Israel. I don't, Anyway, I'm listening to this conversation, but it never did stop, and it always will exist, because our biggest problem is that we just don't want to do right by each other. We want to be little gods, so we want to have the one thing that we don't have, dominion over each other. But we try to do that by suppressing each other. And there you go. And any type of suppression is a form of slavery.
Absolutely.
And more than ever, I'm finding out that this country loves it.
Phone lines are open, 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Cassandra. Oh, you about to act up.
Because you don't want me to start cussing, so
I put on the screen Public Citizen. He said, I still haven't heard a real argument as to how the Bible does not endorse slavery. Do you want to address that?
Well, he also posted Exodus.
Whatever a person believes, and I'm not being Public Citizen, I'm not being ugly, but if you believe that that's what the Bible promoted, even though there's scriptures after scripture that says, whom the Son has set free is free indeed. Jesus came so that we could be free, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that, whether that's emotionally, spiritually, whatever, my thing is, this throw off on people being injected with stuff that they don't know about. How many people got measles shots? How many people got polio shots as a kid? We were immunized all through our childhood to protect us from different diseases. There were diseases that wiped out hundreds of thousands of people in this country over the years. There was development of vaccines that protected them. I don't care that it was a quick vaccine compared to others. We needed something to try to stop. We've always done that throughout history. We've always tried to find things that would stop diseases from spreading in the country. So whether you want the vaccine, whether you get it, you don't act like we a bunch of Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna curse.
Don't cuss.
Don't act like you some smart ass nigga that know more than everybody else. So I don't care. I don't care.
Cassandra. Let me go.
I don't care.
Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya with a T. What's on your heart? Toya with a T. Talk to me.
All I can say is wow, 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 wow. Are you kidding me? No. Who we getting here? Who we getting here talking about slavery? Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know what to say right now. Right? Because it's the same thing we've been going through since this corona stuff. Why? Leave people alone. That's their choice. Leave them alone.
That's a choice. That's a choice, Toya. Thank you.
If it's a choice, leave people alone. Listen, I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm not with it. But what everybody do, that has nothing to do with me. First of all, you don't know what God told people to do. Mind your business. That's first and foremost. Mind your business. Because you don't know what God told nobody to do. I know what he didn't tell me. So I'm going to take that and sit on it, and I'm not going to have no ill feelings about somebody who has corona or has a vaccine or not. I'm going to love you through, and I don't care what happens. If you get corona or not, if you're vaccinated or not, guess what? I'm still praying for you to be safe and the harm come to you. What are we doing?
Amen. Amen.
Come on. Now, let's take a second to talk about the slavery. Now, as a way of life, man made that their dominion. The devil, the same devil that made King Abel, the same one that made Eve eat the apple, that same one gets into people and have us do things just because we can. Period. And it was a while ago. You could go to Pharaoh days. You could go to a whole bunch of centuries, but they had slaves. And people are willing to kill you to make you be that. And a lot of us not willing to die to be one. So stop. Because a lot of us on here acting like we about that business, but I promise you, some of us is going to go ahead and give in, and we got people come knocking on our door, threatening to kill us. All they got to do, threaten our kids. It's a wrap. We're going to be a slave. So stop. And what we've done as humans is we've grown away from that inhumane way of living. But we're going back to it because we still doubting God. And you're right. If you're reading the Holy Bible, I was ignorant like that too. Trust me, coming from a Christian home, being molested by my father's brother, trust and believe that somebody had some reasons not to believe in God. Trust me, that was me. But it wasn't until he said, stop listening to them, and let me tell you something, that when I started to read this letter he wrote to me, I like Galatians. He said, do not submit your yoke to be a slave again. Probably not no same words, but basically in a nutshell. That's what Jesus came for. We don't have to submit to this foolishness. You don't get to dictate, I'm your slave. Because you know what? I got the same power that you got, partner. And it's the same way with this vaccine. How dare you? How dare you tell somebody what to do with what they feel is best for their life? You don't live them shoes. You don't even send them $2 to hope that they eat. But you're going to talk about what they do or don't do? Stop with the joke.
Amen.
Because y'all turning into the same people that's
Amen.
the concept of slavery.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
I'm not vaccinated, but let me tell you something. I will never walk any place without a mask because I don't know what the heck is going on. Stop acting like we know everything. That's the problem. We think we're the God. You're not.
Amen.
You're an extension of him. You have no idea what's going on. And if he's telling people to get this vaccine, the only thing you need to be doing, if you think you believe in him, is you sitting your tail on the sideline praying that the devil does not win with whatever this is going on.
Good deal. Good deal.
Can we act like adults on this show from now on, please and thank you? And let's not put a bad example out here for some of these youngins. They be like, see, that's why we don't listen to them. You're telling us to do something different that y'all doing. Come on, y'all. You gotta do better than that.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go. Let me keep this thing. Hadn't been a Badger for a minute. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I was just listening to everything and was doing some research on minimum wage and all kinds of stuff, and it's the different perspectives and stuff like that. Like, I understand where Public Citizen's coming from, especially when he's like talking about Exodus 20, chapter 21, verses 20 through 21. You know, those are verses that's been used by evil people because it supposedly comes from the Bible. You know, so if it's in the Bible, then that must be what God wants. You know, that twisted mentality. And
see, now you got to understand too. Now let me say this right here. A lot of times, I'm not gonna. I can't agree when you say twisted mentality. What I can say is people take different things. I could write something on a piece of paper and pass it to everybody around here, and everybody may get a different interpretation of what I'm saying on that piece of paper at that particular time. Bible. I could go to the Bible. I could read a scripture today, and I could read that scripture a month from now, and it will mean something different to me because I'm in a different place and point in my life at that time. And so it's based on a person's interpretation and how they interpret it.
so I can understand where you're coming from with that, but my word usage for twisted is because for someone to read that and to turn around and use it to enslave human beings, in my opinion, in my terminology, is a twisted person.
I can agree with that.
So, like, and I know some people hear me talk about church and hear me talking about the Bible and stuff, but I want to make something very, very clear.
The one that you don't even say.
In New Testament, the way Jesus lived his life is how I do my best to live every day. I don't remember a single verse, and I could be wrong, so if anyone wants to correct me, you know, feel free to do so, of him being evil toward another human being instead of trying to uplift them or show that serving as a vessel for God, you can help heal other people. You can relight that flame or that inside of them to walk a better path. Now, with me saying this, now to sit there and see people still use the Old Testament, which also from my understanding, he said most of it was obsolete because of how it was treating other human beings. Because irregardless if a person's a slave or not, they are a human being. They were made in God's image. You know, which says it at the beginning of the Old Testament. So somehow it got twisted and converted into, you know, you can beat a slave and as long as you don't kill him, it's okay. Yeah, no, that's man intervention and changing words that probably didn't mean what men think it means, in my opinion. Because man's had its hand in the Bible and translations for many, many, many years. So now, as far as this government stuff goes and modern day slavery, because I do have people that do talk to me about that and what they consider modern slavery, is where, like, in a situation where I'm in, you know, I don't have someone that's going to pay our bills. You know, I don't have someone that's going to help me get to college. You know, I get turned down for college grants. I get turned down for all kinds of things just because of my disabilities and whatnot. So, you know, and minimum wage is $7.25. So how in the world in this day and age when rent is, at least where I am at, and I'm in Podunk town. So, you know, a small little town that, you know, things should be somewhat balanced, you know, and rent for an apartment is like $600 a month. But if you're getting paid $7.25 a month, you know, based on minimum wage, how are you going to afford $600 a month working 40 hours a week? Oh, wait, you'll have to get 2 jobs, and that might be enough. Oh, wait, if you're married and have kids, there goes that out the window. So now you're going to have to get a 3rd job, maybe 3 jobs a week, 40 hours in each job, if that's even possible. You might be able to afford rent and groceries.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Let's go to Mike. Mike, what's on your heart, brother?
Nothing much. As far as I think the ladies might have been offended about me saying about the whole vaccine, what I'm stressing is that even with the vaccine issue, we had vaccines. I got vaccinated when we were young and whatnot. We also had decades of information as far as vaccines went. But the side issue is this: you should always be given a choice. It's my choice as to whether or not I want to take it. When you begin to try to penalize people, when you're kicking people out the army, giving them, an ultimatum of, you can work or you can get vaccinated. It's one of those things of I don't like not having a choice. I mean, even with the abortion issue, it was always said, "What? My body, my choice." And all of a sudden, with this wonderful thing that's going around now all of a sudden it's suspension of your rights. That's why the Supreme Court had to come out and even say it. No, you can't mandate that people get vaccines. That goes even back to World War II with the Jews, as far as the Hague and all that international law, even in our own law, you cannot demand that people take a vaccine. And it's amazing to me that Black people, especially knowing what we know about Tuskegee and all this other stuff, that it's okay for you to sit there and pressure me to get this, yet even if you want to sue somebody, because technically it's not even a vaccine, they had to change the definition of a vaccine to even fit this thing. So we won't get into technicalities and whatnot, but all it boils down to me is if you don't have a choice, that's the problem. If you're going to be penalized, that's the problem. If I don't want to inject myself with something, you're going to penalize me, and then you're going to try to mandate it anyway. That's why we have some parents who are now getting ready to start suing a lot of these jurisdictions and whatnot, because their children have been getting vaccinated without their permission, without their knowledge, because they've been handing out. And then you look at just how they gave out the vaccine. Like, honestly, okay, let's just step out of let's just go to anecdotal. You got literally drive-throughs with people you don't know injecting you with stuff. They giving this stuff out for free. Now, they ain't never gave out no chemotherapy. They ain't never gave out nothing else for nobody, to save lives and whatnot, but they willing to do everything they can to get this injection in you. So I just see something fundamentally wrong with the government all of a sudden wanting to give out free health care all of a sudden. So I have a whole lot of issues with it, but the main issue for me is the ground issue is choice. Do I have a choice? And when people start eliminating your choices, that's where I got problems.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing going. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
Ditto, brother. Just ditto. Choices, man. I wasn't trying to offend anybody. I do know a lot more than a lot of people about viruses and vaccines and stuff like that, because this is what I do. I've been doing it in the military since 1989, dealing with viruses in laboratory and medical lab and medical technology and all this stuff. So I do know what when I see red flags, I know what's going on.
Good deal. Good.
So this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I was a baker, somebody told me that, if I knew a baker and I go in there to buy some bakery and they say, "Hey man, don't buy that because that's not how you make it," then I'll look at them and I say, "Okay, because that's what you do." This is what I do. I ain't trying to offend anybody, but going back to the point of what slavery is and stuff like that, because that's what the main question was. And like I was saying, if you can get people to do something like this in mindset, you can get people to do any type thing. You understand? When we speak about, and a lot of people, and I know I'm not trying to get into the vax, or non-vaccine. I've got all my other vaccines. I do. I didn't get this one, but that's just my choice. And like Mike was saying, in the military, you making people leave for something that when you open up the package of the vaccine, like any other medicine, if we ever opened up medicine, and I've opened up the packages of the vaccine and you see intentionally blank, it says on the big paper, intentionally blank. What does that mean? Intentionally blank. It says intentionally blank, meaning that it's not telling you anything about what you put in your body. Now you can go get the MMR, the any of those other things, and it will say what's going on. Let me tell you a story. What happened, man? I got offered a job, and I get offered jobs a lot. And I know in the medical field we get measles, mumps, and rubella. You have to have those, and varicella. And all you have to do is turn in your antibody test, and you don't have to get another shot. I got COVID a while back. I have the COVID antibodies. I told this company, a hospital that was trying to hire me, I got my measles, mumps, rubella antibodies. They said, okay, send me the paperwork. I said, okay, yeah, I got my COVID antibodies too. They said, it doesn't matter. You still need to get the shot.
Wow.
Red
Wow.
flag. Red flag. Red flag. That's all I'm saying.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing going. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya with a T. We got another phone call. Caller will be coming to you in just 1 second. Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
Well, no, I'm just going to pass because I think other people got some stuff to say. I think I should pass it to Tucson.
Tucson, talk to me, brother. Do your alley-oop, Tucson. What you going to do with it?
Yeah, well, I think our biggest problem is we're just a bunch of disobedient people, and that causes us to be in the biggest slavery that we possibly can be in, and that's just disobedience. I ain't gonna call it sin because we get religious about that thing. And we don't understand anything, seemingly, about how I'm gonna call him the creator works. Because if he tells us something, we don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So we try to make our own choices, and it causes us to be in the bondage that we are in. And we continue to seem like we enjoy it. Why would he put so much effort into making us free if he wanted us to be in bondage? From the very beginning, we had freedom of choice. All you got to do is walk around and name a bunch of animals. But no, you want to believe a lie, and it causes you to act irrational, even to the point that your descendants start killing their own brother. We act like that all the time. And then he has to come and rescue us. Why don't we talk about the efforts that he makes to bring us out of bondage? The Bible also promotes that more than it does anything. Because we get ourselves in trouble. We cry out to him because man won't give us no relief. He just presses and presses and presses. So he sends us a deliverer, and we start raising hell with the deliverer, talking about grapes, cucumbers, and watermelons. That's how we do. And then he lets us go on, and then we start acting up again, and he has to do something. We cry out to him, and he delivers us again, and we go right back like dogs to vomit, all over and over and over and over again. And he sends people to speak for him, and we cuss them out, we dog them out, kill them, we maim them, we crucify them. And he do it again and again and again till we don't believe it, but he sends somebody that would act just like him. And we call him a Beelzebub, and he acts. He never mistreats anybody. He always supports the poor. If you need healing, deliverance, he has that aspect in his life. He's willing to sit with people that other folks don't want to sit with, and treat them kind. And you know what they do with him? Crucify him. So what I'm saying is the Bible does not promote slavery. It wants you to be free because he says, whom the Son set free is free indeed. We don't like that. We don't like it. We continue to try to strive over and over and over and over and over again to be disobedient, which causes us to be in bondage. And we like it. We love it. If he would come himself, we'll kill him too. Because we do it in our actions. Because we are a bunch of slaves, all of us. And what we want to do is dethrone him. Because every one of us want to be a little God. You run tell that.
And he ended it, Leonard, by saying that you run and tell that. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, it's listening because everybody has a different point of view. You know, I don't rehearse this story about slavery in the Bible. I mean, I just, you know, I don't have nothing for that type of carrying on because I've read the Bible. I've been in church all my life. And what white folks have to learn is that black churches do not teach this crap that you have been learning in white churches. Y'all know y'all. So wherever you're going to get what you're getting at, you should have been stopped going because they've been feeding you garbage. You can say what you want about this, that, and the other on the outside, but if you come in, you find something different. So either you're going to choose to do right or you're going to choose to do wrong. Just pretty much what my man Toussaint was talking about. I'm trying to be on the righteous side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to be on the unrighteous side, go ahead and be over there. I don't have no problem with that. So when people are trying to talk about, well, let's be together and let's come, what we're going to come together about? Because we can come together and we can fight against racism together and we can get like one another. We just can stop racism. Then we can go back to our own places and do what we've been doing. This obsession with what would happen. Minimum wage is what it is for a reason. A minimum wage is usually for the undereducated that don't have nowhere else to go. They may not read better than everybody. They may not smell everybody else, but still they ought to be able to work hard to get what they want. The notion that you don't want to work for nothing else, that's your business. Like I tell people, everybody don't want to be rich. Everybody don't want rich man problems. Everybody don't want the brand new fancy car and the big old house with the 8 and all these bedrooms. And everybody ain't interested in the same thing. Some people just want to wake up, get clean, eat some breakfast, and look at the sunrise.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the critter, I don't usually get into just going after things just to make a point. The point is you're wrong, and I'm here to change it.
Exactly.
It ain't about sitting around trying to figure out who worse than this, who worse than that. Oh, and by the way, the Bible ain't no good and blah, blah, blah. I can't trust you neither. What makes you think I'm going to trust you? Or your religion or your whatever? You can't come to, I don't know why people were so ignorant then. I don't know if you could place it now on why people are so ignorant. So there got to be a desire somewhere in there to just be clueless. You're just clueless. Because one, you spend all your time criticizing and hating everything and blaming everything. What you doing? Then you come out and stand on the street corner and you read what the truth is, because that's how we do it. You go out here and tell everybody the truth. Do that if you're going to do anything.
Exactly.
But don't come up and say, well, the church this, the church that. No, we're going to clarify that today, bro.
Okay.
Because we're talking about two different churches. The church of white hypocrisy and the church of salvation. So let's not get these two confused. And this notion that the Bible was used for slavery. No, whips and chains and guns and murder and rape and everything you can think of is what caused slavery. What maintained slavery. Not somebody standing preaching in no freaking pulpit.
Right.
That's stupid. For anybody to believe that.
Now, Leonard, you can't call the people stupid now, Leonard.
I call them up. They won't. I signed it personally for them. I put your name in the phrase if you want me to.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Public Citizen. I think we have Public Citizen with us. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing okay. I think I've been called out here a little bit, so I'd like to try to address my point of view.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of topics. I mean, the vaccine thing. You guys were talking about the vaccine thing. You know, I was arguing with some white conservatives last week about that, and the CDC was suggesting that you know, people of color should get race should be a factor in determining care for COVID, because black and brown people are dying at 2 to 3 times the rate of whites. And you know, so you know, the thing is, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So you know, I don't want to mandate how people, you know, deal with their own body. I just don't want false information presented on that topic. So, but about the religious thing. So, you know, I'm not a Christian. I grew up, you know, going to a lot of different Christian churches. So, you know, I see there's some good from it and there's some bad from it. Like Rico's friend called in last week and she was talking about all the abuse and things like that are happening in churches. That's not only happening in in Black churches, it's happening in all kinds of churches. So I think my problem with a lot of religious leaders is they do abuse their authority. And, you know, Ephesians 6:5 here says, slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with the sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ, right? There's plenty of scriptures like that that could be used to justify barbarity and inhumane treatment. So this is what I'm saying. The Bible, I believe, you know, it may be inspired by God. I do believe that I do believe that there's a lot of great things in the Bible that, you know, God does speak to people. But, you know, let's face it, there's a human being writing these words down. And I think something lost in translation. So as Donald was saying, you know, he's saying that the creator wouldn't get it wrong. I agree with that. I do agree with that. What I disagree with is that, you know, there can't be something that human beings, when they were writing these words down, kind of got lost in translation. And then to Leonard, I do support reparations. I've been arguing for it for years now. Problem is, it's just very politically unpopular. So, you know, how do we make it more popular? I don't know. That's a different conversation. But so that's all I really wanted to say.
Okay, Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah. Skip me.
No, come on, okay.
Skip me. I don't have anything to say because
I like what Mama
just really. And listen, and I want to say, I'm not angry at individuals because that's what they believe is what they believe. I'm not angry at that. But when you try to make out like other people are stupid, or they're all off because they don't see things the way that you see things. So we just a bunch of dumb niggas, and that's exactly the way it sounds. No, it's the way it comes across. I'm sorry. That's the way it comes across. Don't do that because that's not right. We make decisions just like you based on our research for our life. And Toya said it best. I did it. I prayed and asked God, what is best for me? What is best for me may not be best for Toya, may not be best for Leonard, might not be best for Charles, whoever. I made a decision based on research and my prayer life. So then don't knock what another man do. That was my choice. That was my choice. I'm not ignorant. I may not be as educated as everybody on this line, but I promise you, I am a very wise woman. And I believe wisdom surpasses intelligence because I know some educated fools.
Wow. Curtis, what's on your heart?
Oh, go to Curtis.
Go ahead, Leonard. Curtis, come to you next.
Just to add to what Miss Cassandra said, because, you know, you face these people or what have you, and regardless of my background and knowing certain things, I just let people have their passion. You know what I'm saying? So somebody come and say, oh, you just ignorant and you own something else. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. If you think I'm ignorant, I'm fine with that. I don't mean, it just never crossed my mind that I would be arguing or going back and forth with somebody about my healthcare choices. You didn't care about my healthcare choices yesterday. Why today? Why today? You've never cared about me. So why should I assume you care about me now? Me and my wife have been through several health issues. And we have had to go after doctors just like regular people in the street. All you doing is practicing medicine. And we're more interested in healing. So we pick and choose what we have always done for ourselves. I don't need nobody else with their 2 cents to try to convince me to do something they have done. because it does not matter to me. I have to go and do the research for myself. Anyway, sometimes you got to read the back of packages to see what you're eating every day. People say, well, you didn't know this and you didn't know that, so you just going to just stay ignorant. It don't matter. You shouldn't be like somebody, if we can come to a birthday party, but you have to be vaccinated. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Your birthday is not that important to me. Your eating out is not that important to me. Your concerts or it's not that important to me. Because you're more interested in making money. So you'll do anything. I don't even fault the people who are doing the vaccine. No, that's your choice. Now, I'm not going to vote for nobody to try to force you to do anything like that. I'm not on board with that, and that's why the Supreme Court came out the way they did. No, we've had these issues before. And we're not going to let just because the type of disease change what we've stood on since the Constitution. There's just certain things, one, you don't allow a government to do. And that's what you have to understand. It's government that has an agenda for you. If you got to fight to maintain your choice. That's what the guns are for. Just like slavery. If slaves had guns, there wouldn't be no slavery.
Ain't no fun.
You can keep your Bible, because I tell you, hold your Bible up to your head. I'm going to put a bullet through that Bible in your head. It ain't got nothing to do with a Bible.
Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
It's the will to do that which is wrong and wicked is the problem.
Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, speaking on the vaccine, I'm going to say this. I am one of those that the vaccine saved my life, literally. So I'm not going to go any further with that. The only thing I can say towards that is that, it's funny to me. Here's where I think people like myself and Cassandra get a little
wiggly,
upset about.
A little wiggly
is these same folk that's standing on you violating my rights, in most cases are the same folk that'll look a woman in her face and deny her the right to make a choice with her body.
Amen.
I think
Amen.
that's hypocrisy. I think that is truly hypocrisy.
100%.
Yes.
You can step on the rights of other folks.
Wow.
You can step on the rights of other folks.
What's all these sound effects?
Now, when it comes to the feeling of you feeling like your rights are being stepped on, all of a sudden it's a problem. So I think that's hypocrisy. And
a woman can do whatever she wants to as long as I don't have to pay for it.
Hold on, y'all.
I'm not gonna go there. But I wanted to just briefly read this paragraph, and it's only like 3 sentences, if you don't mind, Ryan, because I don't want to go over my 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
It was written on December 25th, 1712. It says, Gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I'm here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies. And that was just the first paragraph. With some of the newest and still the oldest methods of controlling a slave, ancient Romans would envy us if my program is implemented. That is the opening of the Willie Lynch letter that was read publicly on the day of our Lord Jesus Christ's birthday. Supposedly, his recorded birthday is December 25th. So I think folks better understand or start to understand just how far the devil will go to not only control the narrative, but to change the hearts and mind of men. And I'm gonna do it like Joe Clark do it. And that's why I throw certain folk out, and that's all I'm gonna say.
That's good. That's good. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, this has gotten pretty hot. You know,
Hey, this the morning glow, brother.
I know.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was also reading the comments that were, you know, going through Twitch and stuff like that as well, you know. And the I know some people have their views of the Bible, some have opposite views when it comes to government, comes to Republicans, Democrats, liberals, socialists, whatever people want label. You know, I was laughing at a lot of it, to be quite honest. You know, don't mean any disrespect by it. It's just I find a lot of this stuff humorous. You know, because to me, what I look at is the folks that are in power that have decided what laws we're going to have to follow, that decided how we should treat one another. You know, growing up the way I did, you know, being told about, you know, because of, you know, being poor and white, you know, you're not going to have as much privilege. And then I'm growing up, getting smarter and stuff, you know, and then here I am, you know, in my 30s, listening to a state representative for the local healthcare system who's literally telling me and my wife that because we're not black or I don't have my Native American card, my wife doesn't qualify for health insurance because we make more than $258 a month. What kind of country do we actually live in, you know? At this point, I'm so fed up with hearing a lot of things that I'm just like, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, socialist. If people work hard, they deserve money. If people are lazy, they don't. But we're human beings that as long as we're doing the best that we can in our jobs, in our lives, be respectful to one another. We're so torn between, well, the Bible's bad, the Bible's good. Republicans are bad. No, they're good. Democrats are good. No, they're bad. You know what? To all I'm hearing through most of this conversation this morning is separation.
Good
That's
deal.
what I'm hearing. Instead of going, you know what? He has his opinion. He has his opinion. Cool. I get where you're coming from. Do you get where I'm coming from? Okay. Cool. Well, at least we know where each other stands. We can either walk together or we can walk in opposite directions. Hopefully not that case. But if the main goal of everyone on the call or anyone listening is the betterment of the whole of the human race, let's focus on that. If we can't agree on anything else, but we can agree on that, then let's get it done.
Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, grand rising and congratulations. I can't complain, man. I'm doing a little better. How everybody doing?
Hey, doing good. Congratulations to you as well, brother. What's on your heart? I know you've been listening for a minute, man. What's on your heart right now?
Well, you know, something that I think stuck out to me more than anything, and it was sort of flashing through my mind as some people were talking, is the fact that even when Cassandra was saying that about, you know, we all have our specific needs. We have our own unique situations that make us, you know, have things that we need to get done that might be different from somebody else. But in the process of us having these individual needs, we still have to have a duty to pay attention to those that are put in position to lead or represent us, because we give them power. You know, Badger just said something about people put in place and abusing their power. As an individual that lives in a community where you have to have representation, we have to find a way to make it more of a passion, more of an effort to still try to pay attention to what these representatives do when they have those positions, because they are required to try to do what's best for everybody. Don't get me wrong, they can't do what's best for everybody, but they got to try to do what's best for the most vulnerable, at least, to make things fair. But see, we have this this motivation for survival and this money over everything mindset that pretty much that's the biggest motivation right now. That's mostly everybody's biggest value is making money so they can survive. So with that being said, you know, we know that churches and Bibles, all these things that people need to get by, in most cases, they're not negative until somebody gets in place that can have the authority to represent or move things in the way that they want to. That's when it becomes evil. So we have a responsibility to make sure that these people do the job that they're supposed to do. Even if we're not happy with the way they represent our individual interests, we still have to monitor and keep an eye on them. And at the same time, and we can't keep an eye, I'll put it this way, we can't, I can't say we can't monitor them or have any effect on them later on if we don't pay attention to what they're doing now. And see, with them being in the position that they're in, if we're not careful, they'll get tempted by money too, because that is most people's motivation. So I think, you know, just by listening to this, everybody gonna have a different point of view. Everybody's gonna have the way things are going is gonna impact them differently. But still, it really goes to show you just how much attention we need to pay to these efforts by people in those positions, because it's not actually the institutions that are always negative. It's not always the program that is negative, but it's the people that get involved, that get influenced by different things that makes it negative.
Exactly. K with an E, good morning. How you doing this morning? K, you there? K trying to find that mute button.
Let me say something right here.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I think the part that we forget about is when we, as humans now, right, when we get something that we get power with, we don't do right. And, you know, I don't believe this myth that the United States has set forth, that humanity has set forth, right? Because we keep putting the responsibility on taking care of our brother to the government. No, we are supposed to be doing that. And Badger is absolutely right. There's no way that right now, with all of us humans, knowing what we've come through as Americans, that he should have experienced some of the things he experienced. Just like the homeless shouldn't experience some of the things that they experienced. I mean, just everything that's going on, what we're doing with Epstein, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that we go through that we know better than, but it goes on. And we forget again the dominion that we have. And that separation comes from that. At the end of the day, we can't blame nobody but what? You. Look in the mirror. We're not doing anything. We're not saying anything. You know, we're not standing up for it maybe years ago or whatever. But maybe for us letting it get this far. Maybe for us indulging in it because you can't be there if you don't allow it. Really understand at this point in time that feeling was Lucy and Ricky didn't even sleep in the same bed because society thinks that way. But now society you know, on TV, even men acting like women and vice versa. But who's controlling it? I thought you control your life.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? The millions that we have.
K with an E, are you back with us? You found that mute button, K? Charles, talk to me, brother.
Oh man, I'm just listening, man. I agree with what Badger was saying, man. He made some good points on that. I didn't really get to hear my brother Rico. What's going on, Rico? Haven't seen you in a minute.
What's going on, bro?
What's up? But as for like you saying, the beginning of the subject of slavery, what people want slavery, man. I think, like I said, in the beginning, it's evil people in this world, and there's evil people. But you know, I thank God, man. I believe that the good people outnumber the evil people in America and in this world. Everybody's not, you know, great. Everybody's not good, but I think the good people in America outweigh the evil people. So even though I know your question was just a question, you know, and it's a good question, we know that it won't happen because the good people in America do outweigh the evil people.
That's good. That's
We
good.
outnumber them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael, what's on your heart, brother?
Okay, so I have a fantasy.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Michael,
Can you hear me?
you there? Yes, I heard you. Go ahead. What's on your heart, brother?
To the other issue as far as slavery goes, I don't see that being an issue in this day and age simply because people are too educated on slavery. But I do see an involuntary slavery, everything from when you talk about the prison system all the way down to minimum wage and things like that. There's involuntary, and then there's an issue of what's subconscious. Subconsciously, we're all technically going to be slaves to a certain degree. You go to a job every day, you work at that job, you get a certain amount of money, which actually doesn't handle all issues in your life, but you still go to that job, you collect a certain amount of debt, you're still in slavery to a certain degree because there are certain people who don't even have to go that route in their life. So I don't see it as a huge issue or anything that's ever going to happen again in U.S. history, at least, because simply put, we have guns. Guns prevent a lot of stuff from happening. If you're able to arm people and people understand why they have those arms, which is why I stress to people all the time to learn their rights, you're not going to be anybody's slave. It is hard to oppress people with AKs and AR-15s on their back. So for me, the slavery issue is dead. And as far as the vaccine goes, like I said, it comes down to choice. Where is my choice at without penalty? If you're going to penalize me simply because I don't want to do a thing, I got serious problems and issues with that kind of behavior. So for me, it's not a huge issue as far as people who want to be offended and want to bring up this, that, and the other. Let's just pretend this thing was like Resident Evil. If it was truly that serious, you wouldn't have to convince anybody to get a shot. Period, point blank. If you caught the COVID or the Omicron or whatever it is, if it was that serious, you wouldn't be going around begging anybody to do anything. I know we all, if you've ever seen the movie The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, there's a scene in there where he pretty much is being briefed by one of the guys when he's going to the island. And the guy says, hey, if you come in contact with this agent, you need to take this needle, jab yourself in the heart and inject yourself. And Nicolas Cage says, no, I'm not doing that. And the man sits there and puts it in his hand and says, don't fuck with me on this. And he leaves it at that. He don't argue with him. He don't go back and forth with him. He handed it to him, and that was it. And then what happened? When Nicolas Cage was on the island and he came in contact with it, he was on his knees looking at that needle and stabbed himself in the heart. So if it was that serious, you don't have to convince people to take a shot.
Good deal. Kay, you found your mute button, Kay? Trying to come to you, sis. Leonard, talk to me, brother. Toussaint, coming to you next.
What? Talk to you about what?
What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know, I think it's interesting. However, you know, my views and things on body sovereignty and things of that nature and human rights, that's what's first. That's what's first, human rights. So, you know, I'm always on that page of preserving human rights. Matter of fact, you can make a law about guns all you want because everybody I know still has guns. Even when they couldn't have them, they still got them. So I ain't worried about the gun issue and things of that nature. Biggest issue for me and things like that is dealing with racism. I mean, that's what you focus on. That's what the majority of my life has been for the past few years, is working with people, again, who deal with institutional racism each and every day, to support those people who are unjustly incarcerated, to help people get housing, clothing, and food. That's what that's what we do, and address the wrongs in society. So that's the effort that I've been a part of for many years. And it has not changed. Like I said, I judge people by what I see them doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
If I see you always on the wrong side, then that's just who you are. That ain't got to be me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't trying to convince people to do what I do or what have you. But if you concerned, you should be doing something.
Something. Exactly.
You know something. I mean, it's not unlikely that half of the people who are so evil spirited or what have you, they're constantly working on a strategy to promote their agenda. Whereas some of you believe that things just happen like that. No,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who are interested and invested in their agendas, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's really when it comes to politics and things like that, and whether half the people are good or half the people are bad. Let's see what they do. Murder and homicide is high and everything. So, you know, when we get to talking about how good people are, we definitely clarify good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What's good? What's good?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have different things in place that you could choose to fight against. If you don't see a fight already against that, we were fighting at one time for abolishment of that 13th Amendment, where it even allows for the type of treatment of incarcerated persons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that can be somebody's work that they're interested in. There's an effort for that, reparations and things like that. There's a council that you can go to work with to be instrumental in getting reparations, you know, stuff of that nature. But people who stand against what's best for people and support the disenfranchisement of some people, I think you need to look yourself in the mirror because you have some issues.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
I want to know why is, and I don't mean it.
Oh Lord.
But
Leonard.
why is Michael the only one can get away with throwing the F-bomb out there? I'm just joking.
Did Raheem say hey? You say hey?
Yes, I did.
Say, okay, I wonder if you said it. I was like, we said some cuss words today.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We gonna rub his hands and everything. No, we ain't doing that. No.
Anyway,
mm-hmm.
let's do this. Okay. The beauty of this circle that we have here is when it gets to be unique is when we respect each other.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason.
Absolutely.
And we may not agree. We may, for instance, it's not hopefully we don't reach out and start attacking each other.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the comments about the Bible, Christianity, that's all fine. We have a tendency to live by the information that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And then we live by our truth because that's all you got.
Exactly.
The reason why I say all this is because in our predicament in life, Mr. Man, what is the solution?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody has it.
Yep.
So because we don't have a solution, then we develop our place of satisfaction to make us feel good about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But when we start trying to make that truth or that reality work in somebody else's life, that's when we cross the line and we start trying to have dominion over each other. You can't make me do what you do. I don't care what you do.
Exactly.
But the question remains is, what's the answer? And I say this and I shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I've done all of these vaccines and all of that kind of stuff, and I still caught it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So none of that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that we still don't have an answer.
Exactly.
So you do whatever you want to because you're a free agent. You can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, Donald done broke. Donald done broke.
Well, we cussing. Can I go there? We cussing. So can I go back to the
Give us the explicit verse.
Exactly.
I'm just joking, man.
Jip. Okay, now I think we talked about that. We talked about that for a minute. I want to get to the last couple of minutes and get to our topic of the day, because I know there's someone that's listening, and I think they need some help through this situation. I'm not gonna call your name, bro, but I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. If not, you better look at the rebroadcast and still. Me and my wife, man, we God has blessed us to be married for 20. We've been married 25 years, and I don't know how she put up with me that long, but we've been married 25 years. And I had a friend of mine out of Columbia, South Carolina, called me a few days ago. I think it may have been Thursday or Friday. Been married about 3 years. Cassandra, I want you to listen to this. I'm coming to you first. Been married about 3 years, and asked me a question. And the question was a little concerning to me. Truth of the matter, I didn't know how to answer the question. I know what we do, but you can't answer certain questions for other people. They have to know the answer within themselves. But he asked me the question. He said, "Man, how do you keep the flame burning?" He said, "Man, we've been married 3 years, and y'all been married 25. How do you keep the flame burning?" Cassandra, how do you answer that question?
I don't know why you trying to just play me like that, and I ain't got no man. So
Man, that's the funniest thing she done said.
I'm listening. I just counsel people with that answer. I have no personal knowledge of that. No, but no, you know what? No, but you know what? It's a joint effort. Mm-hmm. It's a joint effort, and each person has to make a conscious decision that they are going to do things that will please or keep the excitement going in their marriage. Let me give you an example, and I'm gonna be done with it. This is just something I did. My husband and I think we've been married maybe about 13 years. He's dead now, but about 13 years. And I wanted to do something that, just exciting for the marriage. So I got home one day. The kids, they went and stayed with a friend of mine, and I made this marvelous dinner. I got some rose petals. I put them on the floor from the front door to our bedroom. Then I sprinkled some on the bed. I had the little candles going. I had the little music playing. It was all sexy, and everything was just set up. And I heard him pull in the driveway. I heard his truck, and I had on this see-through negligee. And I went to the door and opened the door, and him and his business partner were standing there. I literally freaked out, slammed the door. So do things like that, but just make sure that your partner is by themselves. But you can do things. If it's dying, figure out what's wrong. Is it an emotional issue between the two of you? Is it something physical? Because to me, if you're having a physical problem, like people doing what they need to do, and you're not being satisfied, find out what it's going to take in order for you, what I'm saying, to enhance that relationship. It takes two people, though. It can't be just one person wanting to make it exciting.
That's good. Tucson. Oh, see, there you go.
I'm glad you created me. I'm so glad you created me. I'm so glad you created me.
Oh, Lord.
Cassandra opens the door in the buff. If that don't keep the fire burning, that will.
Lord. Rico.
So look, I could just see you, Cassandra, how you like this business partner.
Look at it, Rico.
And I was smaller back then, and so I had a little body on me.
What you say? What you say? Hello. Say hello. Say that's how you answer the door.
Lord. But talk to me, Tucson. What's on your heart, brother?
From a place from where I am, keep folks out of your business. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't share your information in the bedroom with friends. Don't do that. But then be creative. And every once in a while, shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, in this society, let me say this. I'm gonna say this, and y'all don't incriminate me for what I'm gonna say.
Okay, we'll try not to.
I got me a Spider-Man suit.
Lord, what a wicked web we weave. What a wicked web we weave.
I wonder what a whale slang is.
Exactly. Leonard, ask you a question. How do you keep the flame burning?
Well, you know what? I don't know nothing about a flame burning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I like what Toussaint said. I don't think that married people should discuss what goes on in their bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about, I mean, it just depends. Like what Miss Cassandra tried or whatever, that's your business.
Attempted.
But I think this look for a burning flame causes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It causes a problem because can you control the flame?
Mm.
What else is going on when people start asking those issues? Because remember, sex wasn't a flame thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so much of a flame thing. It is because it has become perverted, which makes you look for some type of flame.
Mm-hmm.
So, people have sex for different reasons. Or people enjoy sex for different reasons. There's some people out here that don't enjoy it at all. I've heard some men say they don't have drive anymore after a certain age and things like that, or what have you. Or maybe some people work so hard that they don't consider it or what have you. But the notion of the flame is a little troublesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, it could lead to other things. And you need to be upfront. Just talking about, what I don't like is I'm down for whatever. Well, do you even know what whatever includes?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's out there for you. You can think you want this, that, or the other. Then when you get it, you realize, you know what? Now all of a sudden, I prefer something else.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very clear with one another. As long as you love each other in a relationship, that should be enough for you. But these people who have these, well, I need something else, they're acting out.
Yeah.
They're acting out.
Open up Pandora's box.
Yes.
Close it back.
So, and that goes for just about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can say things and you ain't think about them, and then I know what's the desire of your heart is now.
Mm-hmm.
See, once I learn what the desire of your heart is, I know which way you're gonna go.
Exactly. Let me go to Charles. Talk to me, brother. How do you keep the flame burning? Let me unmute you there.
Hey man, I agree with everything Cassandra said. She's she's right. And the thing about bringing other people into marriage or asking questions or things like that, I've been married twice.
Mm-hmm.
Counseling, and it's an honor. You should look at it as an honor for somebody asking you that, because they're looking at your life and what you and your wife did as something to look up to, and to move forward to. So it's when we went to counseling and stuff like that, we looked at the counselors, we knew them, and they had a long marriage. And what we learned is that one of the main things is communication is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Honest communication about pretty much everything. If you can communicate honestly, and I also with the things that Cassandra was saying, you can pretty much beat a lot of things. Because I'm quite sure that was probably one of your things that you and your wife did was you all communicate well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been around you and I've heard how you and your wife talk, and it's communication.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the big things, and that's for the flame thing, or to keep the flame going. I know playing on words, but a healthy relationship of touching each other or contact, because you don't want to be around somebody you don't want to touch. You don't want to touch you. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants that. You know, that's always a plus, or that's always in there to help out. Even I see even 90-year-old women, marriage. I mean, couples touching each other and kissing each other. You know what I'm saying? Being
Mm-hmm.
attracted to each other in a physical
Mm-hmm.
way, and being attracted to each other in a mental way. So those things are kept with communication. Sometimes we get so complacent in relationships that we don't communicate. We just take it for granted that the person's going to be there. Take it for granted
Mm-hmm.
that the dish is going to be washed. Take it for granted that the person's going to be doing this or that, when all you need to do is communicate. And I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing. And you
Mm-hmm.
being a brother that's been married, like my sister, man, she's been married for 20 something years, 30 maybe, I think. And she says the same thing that I'm quite sure you know already, because you've been there. Communication.
Yes, sir.
Communication is the key to a lot of things.
Watch this. Watch this. Yep, communication is important. Cause my wife, she give me my opinion and she tell me to go with it. No,
Exactly.
I'm just you give me my opinion, and that's just what it is. And
That's just what it is.
Toy, you want to keep talking, Miss Sis? How do you keep the flame burning?
I mean, I think a lot of that has to do first and foremost with really wanting to be with that person because you love them and cherish and take care of them, and not for what they have or maybe how they look.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you understand what your role is as a woman to take care of your man the same way it is for a man to take care of a woman. I mean, no matter what, it ain't nothing you can do that's gonna change anything that got going on. I think once you got that, the flame is lit. Ain't no going now.
Mm-hmm.
Once the connection is there, like gas connection, once you flip that switch, it's a wrap on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, that's love.
Yes.
That's what like. You know what I'm saying? Can't
Mm-hmm.
help but
Mm-hmm.
want to be with him, want to do this for him. But that's love. But you have to use that choice and do it for the right reason. A lot of us don't do it for the right reason. We get with people because of money, because how they look, and then wonder why 15 years down the line they get on your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
If you vow, you understand that when you speak with someone, it's the same as making a vow that you should be loving and cherishing them. And if you don't, well, then if you wind up bored, you need to think about yourself and not about what they got going on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, that's good. That's good. We got somebody beating someone on what that is in the background. Somebody beating up something. Rico, what do you say to that, brother? How does they keep the flame? How do you keep the flame burning?
Well, you know, when you said that, the first thing I think of is keeping that fire going, that momentum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you want to keep that momentum going, for you to have momentum, you got to have a desire. You got to have a desire. So my thing would be is, first off, don't be too greedy. Don't overindulge, because sometimes, I mean, this is just plain out human nature. You find something you like, you indulge in it, and if you continue to overindulge in it, sooner or later you won't like it as much. It won't mean as much. You'll take it for granted. It won't have the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll lose your drive and your motivation for doing that thing or indulging in that thing.
Yeah.
So now here it is. You meet the woman of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have children with her. You want to build a life with her. You know, both of y'all can be successful, and you're going to do anything you can to get this woman, because this is a world where you have to compete with other men, and they were looking for a good woman too. And she may have a lot of potential people that look at her as a quality woman. So now you get her and you want to impress her. You want to impress her more than anybody. And you do the things that impress her, but then at the same time, you overdo it. You overdo it, and then after a while, you can't find anything else to do for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've overdid what you did at that time. You might like her 6. So now you're having it 5 or 6 times a day. Believe me, in about 5 months' time, if not less, you ain't gonna want it 5 or 6 times a day. You done did every position and everything you could do. Sooner or later, it ain't gonna be as good. But see, if you had actually just said, well, you know what, man, I ain't gonna be greedy, even though I would love to have this sweet nectar every day. I think I'm gonna temper myself a little bit so I don't get burned out on it, and I'll appreciate it a little bit more if I do it when it's necessary and not just doing it when I want to. So you have to go back and think about the things that made you happy with these people, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in an organization. Sometimes organizations need to have that flame lit. They need to have that fire brought back to them. The NAACP, especially in my state, man, it needs some flame. You get what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like it was in the past. A lot of these black organizations. So I think what happened is sometimes people get complacent, they get comfortable because they did so much, made so much effort to get the agenda, get the goal accomplished, that the excitement dies. So what you would have to do is find other avenues, find other things. And also at the same time, like I said, when it is good, don't ride it till the wheels fall off. Save some for later. Exactly.
Or get you some a couple of spare tires. That you want to no. Just, let me go to Badger. What's on your heart, man? How do you keep the flame burning?
Constantly showing passion, because to me, love is undying. So, I mean, maybe try something new off and on. But that, love is love. So it's, to me, kind of hard to not have passion all the time. If that makes any sense to anybody.
It does. It
But
does.
like, to me, if you're struggling that bad, then is love really there? Like real love.
That's true. It could just be a passion of the moment. Michael, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. How do you keep the flame burning? Hold on. Got you on mute there. Unmute yourself, Mike. Michael, you there? Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I go by what I've seen in successful relationships. I look at a lot of older people who have been married, because you got some people who've been married 30 or 40 years, but they're just married to each other because bottom line, they either can't get anybody else or they're not willing to put the work in. What I see as being successful is what I've literally heard come out their mouths is keeping things fresh and brand new. They treat each other like boyfriend, girlfriend, and it's 30 years later. They that whole complacency mentality, that mindset of, I'm married and now I don't have to work out anymore. Oh, I'm married, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do the same thing you did to get that person is the same thing you're gonna have to do to keep them. Most of the successful relationships I see that are long-term, that are actually happy, healthy, and thriving, they keep a certain newness to them. There's always something new, and they do little things for each other as opposed to big. Like the old saying is, if you're getting married or you're in a relationship simply for sex or material / money, this is already a doomed situation.
Yeah.
If you're getting married because you and this person can talk for hours, you enjoy some of the same activities, you actually enjoy each other's company, and I don't mean company in the sense of talking, just literally that person being in the room or being in the house with you. You enjoy just having that person around. Now, yeah, we all want great sex, and God knows we all need some money. So, there's nothing wrong with that aspect of it. But if you build it on that, it's not going to be successful. But the older people who I've seen, who I've talked to, widows and men who have watched their wives die because of cancer and whatnot, those true long-term relationships, they kept things new, and they did the small things for each other. It's like that love language stuff goes. When you start talking about women who like to cook, men like to eat. So if you have a woman who cooks for you, it's that small thing she does. That man, you know what he does? He fixes stuff around the house. She appreciates the fact that he is handy. He can go change the light bulbs. He can, get a wrench out real quick and unclog the drain. You know, it's those small things that you do. It doesn't always have to be something big, major, a Tiffany ring, a Birkin bag, or something like that. It's those small things that you do that allow somebody to say, you know what, this person genuinely cares about me. This person will take the time out their day to do something rather than go pay somebody else. If they're able to do it themselves, they will get on their hands and knees and fix this. She will get in that kitchen. She will cook for me because she knows I like to eat good food. So I've always just noticed it's always the small things. And they treat each other like a boyfriend, girlfriend, and they try to keep it fresh on that level.
And I'm gonna say, and you right on point, man. Let me go to Cassandra. I'll go to Cassandra because before I do that, let me get a phone number. They asked for the phone number 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines open. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Cassandra, I'm gonna tell you something. One of the things that I noticed, and I noticed this early on in my wife's marriage. One of the things that she really appreciated, and I try to do it as often as I can, is she was actually, we had during this time we was dating. We wasn't a husband and wife, we was just boyfriend and girlfriend, I guess what you would say. But she came over to my apartment. I had my apartment, she had hers, and she came over to my apartment one day, and I had to go and look in her car for something, and I went out there to look in the car, and I looked at her gas hand. And her gas hand was a little less than right at the quarter tank or whatever, whatever. I don't know how to, less than a quarter of a tank. And I just started the car and I went to the gas station and I filled the car, brought it back, and went on back up to my apartment and everything. And we talked and she got ready to go. And when she left, she called me on the phone. And she said, "You put gas in my car?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Why you do that?" I said, "Cause you needed some gas." That part right there, I think I got a few points with that, Cassandra. I think I got a few points with that. I think the truth of the matter, because she I know that she really appreciated it. The fact that that I would do something like that.
Hey, but Raheem, what if she had been the type that didn't ever really pay attention to her gas hand and just didn't even realize that you had filled it up?
Truth of the matter, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered, because my thing was just knowing that she could drive and go where she want to go, and didn't have to worry about it, or me not having to worry about her running out of gas. It was okay. It would have been okay.
So it still made you feel good, whether she realized it or not, right?
Exactly. And so it wasn't, even if she didn't acknowledge it or something like that, there might be her call. I guess she got a call. Hold on, there might be her call. No, okay. I thought it was her calling and say, "Why are you telling that story?" But Cassandra, stuff like that, and Michael said small things. That people may look at that as being a small thing, but it was done out of love and because of the fact that I was concerned about it and stuff like that. How much weight does that carry?
Oh, it carries a lot of weight. Michael said something that definitely resonated with me when he mentioned love language. You need to find out your partner's love language. Some people, they like being touched. Some people, they want you to talk to them. You need to find out what is it that before you get married, you need to do that. What is it that makes my partner feel good about themselves and about our relationship? And I've heard women say some stupid stuff over the years, and his sex isn't good enough, or he don't dress the way. Negro, those are things that you can help him with. If a person is of a quality that you feel like you want to spend the rest of that, who cares if he wears Nikes with his suit or whatever? You can help the person get to where you need them to be. To me, that's what growth and caring about people is all about. So you find out the love language. Don't look at the little small things and dismiss people. Look at the small things and say, this is something that I can build on. Or we can deal with this. If his biggest problem is that he don't know how to match colors, Jesus, please help him match colors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But
the small things are really important.
Now, you might not want to wear polka dots and stripes on the same day. You might not want to do that.
No, I'm not. Now, see, we're going to have a problem if you do polka dots, but I'm going to help you. I'm gonna help you because I can help you pick out clothes. I'm very stylish, as everybody knows. I love clothes,
Exactly.
so I can help him with that.
Leonard, now, polka dot.
You stylish, or
Exactly. Leonard, now y'all going somewhere and she come out the house with polka dots and stripes on blue and purple.
I just need. What's the point? I want to know what the point is.
How you gonna
tell me why.
So hold on.
Tell me why. Just tell me why. I could probably make it, but you know, it's funny because me and it's pretty much opposite. Where my wife didn't wear a lot of colors.
So you wore the polka dots and stripes.
Oh yeah, I was big into that back in the day, but when it came to clothing, she would wear neutral everything. And I said, "Oh, we got to bring some more color into your life." So I always bought and shopped for my wife all the time. So, and I used to work in a department store. I was used to dressing women, so it was natural for me to do that. But like she said, and the people would say, "Oh, that's so nice what you have." My husband picked it up. But I literally used to go to the store because it's not her thing. She'll go buy a few main pieces. She's gotten much better. We've been married 22 years. She's gotten much better. But she's not the fashion plate type of person. She's not gonna go for the colors and stuff like that. But she will try. Like, say for instance, I love a woman in a nice pair of heels. I mean, to the point I had to curb myself from complimenting a lot of women. Because if I just see you in some shoes that look great, I'm usually going to tell you. My wife hates heels.
Wow.
She'll try for some special occasions, but it ain't going to last because it's not her thing. So I think that when you've been with somebody long enough, like sometimes I don't even have to think of anything. And she'll just show up with it. I appreciate when things are, like, say, for instance, this tea I like to drink. And I may run out and I look in the cabinet and tea's there.
Yeah.
People that consider you. And that's what is the biggest thing about our relationship. And people say, man, y'all just seem like y'all just best friends or what? Because we're just that considerate of each other. We're not doing it for you. We're doing it for us.
Exactly.
And we enjoy one another. And me and my wife are together the majority of the time. So we spend a considerable amount of time together that I think a lot of people don't.
That's good. That's good. Let me go. I'm gonna try K with the E one more time. K with the E, are you there? I'm trying to come to you, sister. Can you hear me? K with the E, are you there? Okay, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Michael, what's on your heart, brother?
Nothing else. I do like the discussion. I do like talking about relationships specifically because a lot of people don't understand. We've lost our way in a society. I'll just give you this quick synopsis on how I look at marriage and whatnot. Marriage was an institution that was built on survival. You're talking about a time when it was me, a woman, and the wilderness. And they had male and female roles. The woman took care of home, took care of children. Men had to provide, protect, prophet, priest, all that stuff like that. And because of our modern day situation of abundance, of security, of safety, we've gotten away from those roles. And now what you're finding is you're seeing that we've gotten so far away from it that we're starting to actually go back to it. So for me, it's a big issue of understanding what role you have in a relationship. And that things can't always just be about material and they can't always just be about sex. A lot of people, especially with my generation and younger, everything is all about sex for the most part and how much money you got. And that's why we have this whole issue of everything from, the single parent home to not having stable family situations and all this other stuff. And it's because people have forgotten the roles and whatnot, because you're no longer having to survive and having to actually make it and look at things that are actually important in those relationships. So for me, it's a huge issue for me. If people understood their roles in society as far as just male, female, mother, father, husband, wife, if they actually understood these roles, and everybody's going to have a slightly different dynamic. There is no one size fits all. I get it. There's also going to be some things that are, it may even be reversed in some situations. You may have a woman who may be the provider because let's just say she got a job making $250,000 a year, a business, something like that, and she's got a husband who's making the average income somewhere between 42 to as much as maybe $55,000 a year. That's going to happen. But even when I was growing up, I don't know my parents' finances, but my dad was my dad. He was a man of the house, period. He drove after he got out the military. My mom was an RN. She was making money. So it didn't matter. Like I said, they never even discussed finances in front of us like that as far as any of that goes. But I know my dad was making money because he was over the road. My mom was RN working at night and all this neonatal care and all this other stuff. So they was making money. I don't know who made more sometimes than others, but they made money. But my mama was my mama. My daddy was my dad. My mom was in command. My father, he ran the show. Period, point blank. If he needed to slap the crap out of me, my mama can't do nothing but stand there and watch. And then knowing my mom the way she is, she probably slapped me before he got to me in the first place anyway. But it was just understood how things are going to work around here, how things are going to be run. And people don't appreciate those small things either. Like I said, with those small things, there are small things that you can do for someone that will mean the world to them. It doesn't always have to be something big. It doesn't have to be something that even registers on somebody else's scale or metric. It's something that you can do that is small, just as simple as, and I hate to break it down to these things because people always want to say, oh, it's a sexist thing and whatnot. Before a man, a clean home is a great thing. It has to do with your mental state, cluttered, et cetera, et cetera. For a woman, knowing that if somebody knocks on the door, or if you hear something in the middle of the night, or if you're out in public and things get dangerous, that you got a man with you. I ain't talking about I ain't talking about somebody who can run their mouth. You got a man next to you. He is going to protect you. And if he got to break his hand on somebody's head, that's what it is. It's the same thing with having a good woman, knowing that, you know what? At the end of the day, we can argue, we can have disagreements, we can have our ups and downs, but she can cook.
She cook. I'm mad at you. Make me some of that lasagna, though. Make me some of that lasagna. Rico, man, I saw you. I saw you in approval to one of the things you were saying. I want to hear what's on your heart, but I also want to ask you this right here, Rico. And I want to say this to you: if Tampa Bay ain't careful, the Rams gonna beat them.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. It's a toss up. The NFL is a toss up. Anybody can lose any given Sunday. There's so much parity to the point to where the teams that didn't make the playoffs actually was that close to making it. A lot of teams that were in first place 3 weeks ago sitting at home right now. So it's a lot of parity going on in the NFL right now.
Hold on, before you move away from the NFL and address the other part. What is that noise? Who's making that noise in the background? Somebody got something going on. What do you think about the last seconds of the Dallas Cowboy game?
It just goes to show that he wasn't prepared. He was anxious and caught up in the moment. He was so caught up and hurried up and getting the ball set so he could snap it again that he forgot about the procedures. And if he had handed it to the right person from the very beginning, instead of thinking about getting to the next step, he would have had another second to see whatever could happen. But by him giving it to the wrong person, that took time off the clock. So, you got to be prepared for all situations, and be aware of the procedures that take place for you to get the goals accomplished that you want to get accomplished.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I was hiding a happy elephant lady and porcupine proud that he did. And when I saw them zeros on the clock, I said, "Oh my God, yeah, boy!"
That was funny. I knew it was coming, man. I think, man, the Dallas, man. I knew it was coming. They got that Romo curse, man. Yeah. But that sort of reflects back to what we were saying. First off, hopefully, it won't be too hard to keep the flame going in a relationship if you get with a person for the right reasons. Hopefully y'all have the same goals as along with those desires. Yeah. And if that's the case, then that will make it a lot easier for you to appreciate one another. Because that's one thing that is very much necessary is appreciation. But then you got to be willing to compliment each other.
Yes, sir.
Fill in where they may be lacking. Might not be lacking much, but if you can fill certain voids or round off certain edges for them to make things go a lot smoother. And at the same time, she's willing to do the same thing for you. that's very complimentary. So when you were willing to compliment each other, then now comes another era of servitude. You got to be willing to serve this person because you love them more than anybody else on this planet. You chose them. Not only did you choose them, but they accepted you. They received you. So for my appreciation for you making me your husband and accepting my proposal, I do honor my job to serve and protect you. And at the same time, make you happy.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure that I'm always thinking of different things that will surprise you and make you happy. It doesn't have to be truly extreme, but something just to let you know how much you mean to me. Something thoughtful and mindful. I'm trying to think what was it I was going to bring up, man. A situation I was looking at. Well, this guy was working for this woman, and this woman introduced this guy to her best friend or one of her best friends. But then the same woman that hooked them up tried to break them up and started accusing him of cheating with other people at the job, was completely lying. And when everything hit the fan, the friend believed her friend that hooked her up with this guy. But now she's in a relationship with this guy and was pregnant by him. So when her old man, her man and her friend got into it, he decided he wanted to leave and asked her, are you staying with her because she's lying on me? Or are you leaving with me? And that woman decided to stay with her best friend while her child's father walked out the door. She selected her friend over the man she was in a relationship with and over the father of her child.
Wow.
So, I mean, that means that somewhere she didn't really appreciate him. Maybe they got together for the wrong reason. Maybe when the friend hooked him up, girl, he fine and he doing tattoos in my shop and he got money. And that was all enough for them to get together. But now all of a sudden they have a disagreement and she chooses the side of the friend that actually was lying. So now you tell, can they really compliment each other? Do they really appreciate each other? Is there a level of servitude or solidarity and honor to that person? See, when you realize somebody is loyal to you and you can actually see, man, they dedicated to me. When I ain't around, if somebody bad mouthing me, I know she got my back.
Yeah.
Man, you would drink that woman bath water.
What a Dixie straw.
You can't wait to get home and touch and caress on her. So sometimes it takes something that small, but don't get caught up in the physical part of getting with people from the very beginning, because those physical, material, and superficial desires will move out the way for more, I'm gonna say, more genuine things that you should be paying attention to. And if you was in it for the wrong reason, you may bail.
Absolutely. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis? Toya?
I just want to say, great show as usual, man. Great feedback from everybody. Great topics as usual, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we're going to keep on opening our way to breakthroughs, man.
Absolutely.
Great show.
Appreciate it. Cassandra, what's on your heart, sis? Donna Tucson, I'll come to you next. Cassandra, you there?
Yeah, I am. I love men. Did I say that already?
No, but I think you thought it mighty strongly, though. I think you thought it mighty strongly. Go ahead.
No. I just, I'm a person that absolutely loves relationships. To me, the most beautiful thing on this earth is when you find that person that you connect with and, you enjoy each other's company. And several people have said it. It has to go past what a person looks like and what they got as far as money is concerned, because I'm going to tell you, I have always attracted extremely good-looking men. I was married to like two women, used to go crazy about them. And I never understood that because I'm just like average, real average. But the thing was, they looked beyond my looks and they saw my heart. They saw how much I love people, the things that the things that I would do in our relationship. Somebody mentioned keeping the house clean, cooking. Those are things that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love that. I love the family life. So I just think people need to make sure that when you get married, you're getting married for the right reasons. You're both open to doing what it takes for the marriage or the relationship to last.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint?
I just love a good sandwich.
Lord. How in the world?
I'm just saying. What the heck? Okay.
If that sandwich made right, you would just bust out in that Spider-Man suit.
Okay. All right.
You go ahead, Rafi.
Lord. Oh. Look here. Hey, hold up. Let me go to Leonard. You ain't gonna stop. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
He said he had to leave.
Yeah, I see he's still on screen. Might have stepped away. Okay, good deal. Let me see. I'm still trying to catch up with Kay. Kay, are you there? Kay might just be listening today. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Toussaint, can I get you to pray us out, sir?
Yeah. God comes out and we just say thank you. I mean, for who you are. And then God, how you orchestrate life, especially when we just follow after your will and your way. God, we ask that you would bless this circle here. Though we always don't agree, but then God, you said we can come together and reason. Thank you for reasoning. Bless us as we go through this day. You keep us in your care like only you can. Bless us in Jesus' name. And for his sake, amen.
Amen. Been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:09. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. That'd be a beautiful thing. Have a great day. Love you, and please be blessed.